Today I am reviewing Reputation Management by Tony Langham. The book came out fairly recently and I haven't reviewed it yet. Now I do have to say I've got a slight bias with reviewing this book because I was one of the many people who helped edit it. So I'm still working through a lot of the chapters in this book. I'm probably just over halfway through now, but as I'm doing vlogs, I thought this would be a really good opportunity to talk a little bit about this book, particularly because I had intended to write about it on my PR blog, which you can find through my YouTube profile. If you're studying public relations, then there are a whole range of books you can buy, such as 10 Arguments for Deleting Your Social Media Accounts, Rise of the Robots, Foundations of Marketing. This is from my university days. Web Analytics 2.0, Cognitive Surplus by Clay Shirky. I wrote a whole essay on this once. Flat Earth News, a must read, still highly relevant today. Measure What Matters. Since this book was published, people in this industry still don't know how to measure. Interesting. Media Communications, Corporate Social Responsibility, Revealing the Corporation, Public Relations. That's the key thing these days. You know, just if you're going to write a book about public relations, just call it public relations. People can find it on Amazon. What I'm really trying to say is if you work in this industry and you want to know about reputation management, which by definition is what the CIPR and PRCA say public relations is all about, then it's actually really, really difficult to find a book all about reputation management. Here's the book. So, Reputation Management by Tony Langham. The first thing to notice is actually, it's not just Tony's book. There were 81 people who contributed to all this book. 81 people, that's a lot of people. There's three things that make a really good book for this industry. And when I say good book, I mean a good book for if you're learning how to come into public relations, but also a good book if you're a practitioner as well. Really, three things you need. The first thing is that you have to have a story. Stories are really critical for an industry such as PR, which is all about story. It's about corporate storytelling, perhaps storytelling for consumers. It's mad that we've got so many books in this industry that are, you know, usually massively theoretical or just bland. There's no stories included. So stories are really critical. Number two, not only have you got stories throughout it, but actually it's substantiated by case studies. Case studies are critical. As a student, any theoretical book that wasn't supported by case studies, you sort of have to dismiss, because if you're trying to learn how to do public relations, then it helps actually having transparent, solid case studies about how we actually go about and do our work. The third thing is you have to accept what's happened before. There are a few books in this industry that are just written by authors who want to perhaps get their name out there, but they don't actually reference anything that came before them. And I think this is where reputation management really excels. I'm taking the cover off this book. It's very difficult flipping through it on a camera when you've got the cover on. Right. There we go. When it goes and talks about the theory, there's actually diagrams included. So I've just flicked onto a random page now. This is the Reputation Management Toolkit chapter, and it's about the reputation journey. I'm going to try to show it on the camera. Hopefully I'm not breaking any copyright doing this. And you know, the point I really want to say is that if you're studying, or even if you're putting together a presentation to help a business or influential individual to understand how reputation management works, what is reputation, the fact you've actually got different chapters throughout this book that include diagrams is actually a real basic. It's hugely useful. And actually the other really great thing about it is that collaboration with people is really key to make the public relations industry push forward, but quite often collaboration is put in line with competition. And so that's when you get really bad industry events or really bad essays by multiple people who work in fairly competitive businesses. They don't want to give away all of their ideas. I have to say, reading through this book, I don't get a sense of that at all. Okay, maybe there are a couple of chapters where I thought, there's a bit too much jargon maybe going on here, but to be honest, that's a whole other debate in itself. But for the most part, these chapters seem to be open, honest, and actually helpful. That's really different for this industry. Usually people's egos get in the way. There's no ego here. Right, I'm gonna put the cover back on the book now. This is a good book. You should buy it.